Hi everyone, it's Tamari, the Astro Fashionista. Welcome to my channel. I'm always bringing you the latest astrology, fashion, beauty, interior design videos, mainly astrological forecasts. And today we are going to talk about March 2019, which is really exciting. So we have a big month coming up, you guys. There's lots of activities, and make sure that you watch the video not only for your sun sign, your zodiac sign, but also your rising sign and your moon sign. I actually find that the rising signs might be a little more accurate because it's closer to what might be actually in your birth chart or natal chart. So without further ado, let's start talking about March. Okay, so I'm going to start out by giving the general forecast, what's going on for the entire month, and then I'll get into specifics for each sign. So Friday, March 1st, we had Venus move into Aquarius. And Venus is the sign of love and beauty. It's Taurus's and Libra's ruler. And when it moves into Aquarius, Aquarius is an air sign. It's very eccentric. It's very forward thinking. It doesn't like to play by the rules. That means we're all feeling a little more like feisty and rebellious when it comes to love, beauty, creativity, all of that stuff. So that was Friday. On Tuesday, March 5th, this is a big day, you guys. We have Mercury retrograde. I know everyone cannot stand Mercury retrograde, but it doesn't have to always be a bad thing. So Mercury retrograde is actually when Mercury, the communication planet, which is Gemini and Virgo's ruler, appears to be moving backwards. It's stationary, so it's not moving forward. And that can be a time of confusion. There's problems with travel, electronics, communication. So it's really not advised to sign important contracts. It's not advised to travel if you really have to. It really affects more short distance travel, but all travel can be affected. It's not a great time to like send really important emails. Like if you are going to, which we know life goes on, just make sure you recheck before you press send. And if you're signing any contracts, just make sure really to read the fine print. That same day, we actually have, actually not the same day. And I also forgot to mention that Mercury will be in Pisces still when it's retrograde, and Mercury is actually considered to be both in detriment and fall in Pisces, which means that it's not really that comfortable there. So we got to be extra cautious this go around. The next day, Wednesday, March 6th, we have a new moon in Pisces, and it is Pisces season. So when there's a new moon, there's going to be a new moon in the sign that season it is. So new moon in Pisces is all about new beginnings. It's a great time to start new activities, but keep in mind Mercury is retrograde, so it's not really a great time to like launch a business or start a new relationship. This is more about maybe going back to something that you've already done in the past and redoing that over, or finishing something that you haven't finished. That same day, you guys, this is a huge astrological placement. We have Uranus moving into Taurus, my sign. Uranus is the planet of change, unexpected change, disruption. It likes to shake things up. And Taurus is all about stability and keeping things status quo and being really stable and seeing things through to the end. So when Uranus comes into Taurus, which is considered in fall, it's not really a comfortable energy. The important thing about this is that it's going to last pretty long time, till about 2026. Yes. Okay, so Uranus in Taurus is going to bring lots of change on a global level, not just personally. Globally, we might see changes to the financial system. We have Bitcoin, and we're kind of maybe moving away to a different type of currency. Maybe cash is going to go away. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be a new form of currency that comes in to replace credit. We'll see how this plays out. But currency probably will be definitely affected. Agriculture, the way we harvest food. There could be changes to the way we communicate about things. Big, large issues being brought to the forefront. There could be issues regarding, let's see what else Taurus rules. Just overall stability and security, maybe national security. Pretty much anything that falls under Taurus's domain, and Taurus rules the throat. It's all about money, security. There is a creative aspect to Taurus, so there might be some creative global things that are new that come about. But this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Uranus only moves into a sign every 84 years. So we'll not be in Taurus again in our lifetime, unless somehow we start living to like 150 or something. And even then it still wouldn't be back in Taurus. But yeah, it's a pretty special thing. It just came out of Aries. So those were Aries issues we're dealing with. Now we're dealing with Taurus issues. If you are a Taurus, this is definitely going to affect you. I'll talk about it in the Taurus horoscope specifically. But yes, it's going to be big changes. And we got a glimpse into what these changes were last year when Uranus moved into Taurus for a brief period before it went retrograde back into Aries. So that was between May and November of 2018. So think about what happened during that time, and we might be revisiting. Last time Uranus in Taurus, I believe there was like the Great Depression. So if you go back in history and Google Uranus and Taurus, you can kind of see what kind of things we might be dealing with again. And the Social Security system was set up during that time. Okay, then we have Wednesday, March 20th, the first day of spring. That means the sun moves into Aries. It's the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, fall equinox in the southern hemisphere if you live below the equator. And this is all about new beginnings, you guys. Spring is always a fresh new time. It's actually International Astrology Day. It's the beginning of a new astrological cycle because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so in the Western Hemisphere, this is just a new start for the next 12 months as we start a new zodiac cycle. And obviously Mercury is still retrograde during this time, so it's not going to be a up and moving type of start, but it is going to be a fresh new start. We also have a full moon that same day in Libra, and Libra is Aries opposite sign. Every time there's a full moon, it's in the opposite sign of the sign the sun is in. So my advice would just be to be a little more diplomatic around this time, take on Libra traits, because Aries is a very self-focused sign. And then on Tuesday, March 26th, we have Venus entering in Pisces. So it leaves eccentric Aquarius. It enters into romantic and compassionate Pisces, where it's a little more softer. We might feel a little more romantic. We might feel a little more creative and wanting to express ourselves. So it should be a pretty nice time when Venus moves into Pisces. And then Thursday, March 28th, Mercury retrograde ends. So I know that's going to be a really great thing. Everybody's going to be excited about. Obviously, well, not obviously, I don't know if many of you guys know that there is a shadow period before retrograde, Mercury retrograde starts, and after Mercury retrograde ends. So although Mercury will be moving direct, it'll still be moving kind of slow. So just give it about a week or so before you really like make any major moves. But for the most part, we should be safe after the 28th. And then on the last day of March, I believe March 30th, yes, we have Mars entering in Gemini. And Mars in Gemini will bring the focus on communication issues. It'll bring it on maybe media. We might see some more scandals coming out. There's been a lot of tea, you guys, over the past. February was a hot mess. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of energy Mars brings to the forefront. Mars is all about action and starting something in aggression. And when you mix it with Gemini, it could mean some sort of like, you know, something's exposed, or there's some sort of verbal arguments or some sort of intense thing that we see maybe on a global scale, but also in your life. So keep watching to see how these astrological transits affect your sign. Okay, so this is the horoscope for Aries sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign. So Aries, we start off Friday, March 1st. We have Venus. It moved into Aquarius, and Aquarius rules your 11th house. And when Venus in Aquarius is in Aquarius, that means you might be feeling a little more social. It might be a good time to meet a partner through like going out. Maybe you're a part of some group or association and you're networking a lot. This is a great time to meet someone. Or it's a great time to take your current partner out to any type of events and just be out on the social scene. Then we have Tuesday, March 5th, Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde, like I said, is in Pisces. Anytime it's right before your birthday, in the sign before yours, it's more of a contemplative time for you. Maybe you're retreating a little more. You're not wanting to maybe go out so much because the sun's not in your sign, right? It's in your 12th house, which is all about subconscious and, you know, staying inside, being inward. So we have both the sun in Pisces there in your 12th house, and also Mercury retrograde there. So you might be thinking about like maybe some past mistakes. Maybe you're thinking about things that happened, you know, 5 years ago with a partner. You just might be thinking about the past more. There's also a new moon in this area and that happens on March 6th. And so the new moon can be connected to maybe you have a goal to get rid of some sort of like bad habit that you've had, and that's really 6th house as well. But maybe you're wanting to start some sort of new journey that takes a lot of like psychological energy or a lot of willpower. That would be something maybe you want to commit to during this new moon. And then the big thing we have is Uranus entering into Taurus for the next 6-7 years. It's entering into your 2nd house of finances and stability and material items, things that you own. So that tells me there's some major changes happening around in those areas of your life. So it could be, and Uranus is all about unexpected change. It could mean windfalls. It could mean money leaving out. So maybe you sell a property. Maybe you purchase a property. Maybe you come into some money somehow. Maybe you start a new job, which increases your income. This can play out several different ways, but there will be some sort of change surrounding your financials, your stability and material items in your life. And then on Wednesday, March 20th, the sun enters your sign, which is very exciting. And Sun in Aries, the sun loves being in Aries because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Just like Leo, a lot of Aries like to be in charge and center of attention. This is the start of spring. It's in the northern hemisphere, start of fall in the southern hemisphere. It's just the start of a new season. So you'll be feeling very like refreshed and vibrant and energized when the sun is moving into your sign. And then there's also going to be a full moon in your 7th house, which is your house of partnerships, marriage. It can mean business partnerships. So there might be something coming to fruition around those areas. Maybe something happens with your partner in your partner's life. Maybe you might sign a contract with a business partner, or you finally decide to take on a business partner. It can play out several different ways, but something around partnerships possibly finishing or coming to a completion. And then on Tuesday, March 26th, Venus is going to actually enter Pisces. So it's going to move from your 11th house to your 12th house. And that's more going inward. And maybe you want, if you have a partner, you're going to want to stay in more. Maybe you're going to want to really go deep with them and discuss things that you never discuss. Maybe, let's see how else this can play out. If you don't have a partner, maybe you're thinking about how you can better bring one into your life if that's what you want. Just feeling a little more, thinking about things, dreaming a lot, and maybe it's focusing on self-care because Venus is all about luxuries in life. So maybe you want to really give some attention to like your mental health and things like that. And then on Thursday, March 28th, Mercury retrograde ends and Mercury goes direct. It will still be in Pisces at that time. It's not going to move into Aries until next month in April, which I'll talk about in next month's forecast. But that's exciting news. Mercury going direct is always great news. And then we have Mars moving out of Taurus in your 2nd house at the end of the month into your 3rd house, which might really put the focus on communication. Maybe you're going to, I don't know, maybe you want to write a book and you're feeling really energized and like, okay, finally, now's the time to do it. Maybe you have the need to maybe start a YouTube channel. Something like that is putting energy into things that involve communication. Maybe it's traveling on a road trip because the 3rd house also rules short distance travel. Watch out for arguments with siblings and things like that because the 3rd house is linked to siblings and Mars is your ruler. So you tend to be maybe aggressive and assertive. So that could play out in that way. So overall, it looks like a good month for you. Big changes happening in your finance house. And you can always find out where your planets are, if you don't know, for free on my website. astrofashionista.com, go to your zodiac page, and then you can run your free birth chart, and you can find out if you are an Aries rising or if you have another rising sign. All right, talk to you later.